Hello, I'm the Blue Plaid Prepper. Today we'll be discussing the essential components of a get-home bag. A lot of people are probably familiar with a bug-out bag, but this is a little bit different. Most people spend most of their days away from home, either at work or school. The primary purpose of a get-home bag is to ensure you can get home safely if an emergency happens while you're not at home. 3 specific goals will help you to achieve that: keeping your bag accessible, lightweight, and maintainable. We'll cover the bare essentials you need, but keep in mind only you can know what a comprehensive list of gear looks like for your situation. The premise behind a get-home bag is simple. In an emergency, you can use your bag, whether it's in your car, at your desk, or another safe location, to help you get home where your main supplies are. Let's consider real-world examples to understand this better. In 1989, the Loma Prieta earthquake in California caused major structural damage, including the collapse of a 50-foot section of the Bay Bridge and severe damage to freeways, making many roads impassable. In 2017, Hurricane Harvey caused catastrophic flooding in Houston, Texas, submerging streets and highways and stranding thousands of residents. Following the 2005 London bombings, authorities shut down public transportation systems and vehicle traffic to prevent further incidents and manage the crisis. In these and similar situations, you might have to walk home, or at least choose an alternate route. Even if you can still drive home, your get-home bag could prove useful, as heavy traffic and potential new dangers are not just possible but likely. For example, your bag could be useful in many other less catastrophic situations, such as Georgia's Snowmageddon in 2014, or the 2003 Northeast blackout, where it would have been useful just to have food, water, and supplies on hand. These situations were challenging and certainly inconvenient, but were not life-threatening for most people. If you're prepared, you can keep a crappy situation from turning into a dangerous one. The get-home bag needs to be lightweight and easy to carry, containing only essentials for survival on the move, and built intentionally for the most likely emergency situations you could face. For example, if you live in the Bay Area of California, an earthquake is a pretty serious concern, but you probably don't need to worry about tornadoes. So this isn't about preparing for every possible scenario or carrying enough supplies for weeks. The purpose of a get-home bag is to get you and your family home to your main stockpile of food, gear, and supplies. Keep an eye out for a future video for more details on that. Today, we'll focus on the bare essentials you really need to make the journey home safely. Many preppers tend to overpack their bags. Avoid this temptation. You don't need an arsenal or a pantry in your car, nor do you need camping gear for a platoon. Your get-home bag should be easily manageable, like an old backpack, that you can throw on quickly. Alternatively, you can use a small tub filled with gear you can carry on your person, especially if you have a chest rig or regularly wear a sturdy belt, as well as a single backpack filled with food and water. This approach makes a lot of sense when you regularly travel with your family, so you can have gear on hand but not take up space unnecessarily with half a dozen backpacks in your trunk. When disaster strikes, the goal is to grab your gear and move as fast as possible without being weighed down or drawing unwanted attention to yourself. Your get-home bag should include food, water, and vital survival equipment. The specific items you pack must be tailored to your environment and circumstances. For instance, MREs will not last very long in a hot trunk of a car in Arizona, and canned drinks can explode in extreme cold. Additionally, remember that walking home during an emergency might not be fast, simple, or safe, even if it seems straightforward under normal circumstances. Let's look at a specific example: a 10-mile walk home for a guy. Here are the essential items to include: food, water, shelter, medical. Emergency food rations, in this case enough for 72 hours. These are dry and sealed lifeboat rations. You can definitely choose more normal food items to put in your bag, but you have to remember to rotate them frequently and to pick sensible things based on your circumstances. 2 durable hard water bottles with extra plastic bottles. We got several just from our local thrift store. A 1-man tent for overnight shelter. An emergency sleeping bag and 2 emergency thermal blankets for warmth and protection, a tourniquet, maybe some gauze and tape too, per person for everyone that uses that car every day. Some additional good ideas that I have in my bag, and this is where a lot of people go overboard, where you might have to rein in your overpacking tendencies. Everything here was deemed worth the wait. A small waterproof container to protect fragile contents like what's in your wallet, maybe some important documents if you're carrying those. Some hand sanitizer for hygiene purposes. I carry 2 extra loaded pistol magazines for my EDC pistol. Leave your rifle at home. You aren't fighting a war, and it'll just make you stick out. Also, be aware of your local laws and your employment regulations regarding firearms. I also carry disposable in-ear protection, just in case I approach a situation where I think I might need to use my EDC. 10-hour hand warmers, 6 count for warmth in cold conditions. Where I live, it snows, so that's an important thing, as well as work gloves to protect my hands. A carabiner and a small length of paracord have tons of uses. A knife has multiple utility purposes, none of which are combat. Knife fighting is for gangsters and the British, and we can't afford to be a member of either group. You also should have some binoculars in case you need to survey your surroundings. A flashlight is obviously a good idea, and probably an extra pair of socks would be good too. A paper map of your county, just in case GPS is unavailable, with important places already highlighted, like your house, maybe a friend's house along the way, and other places you could resupply or rest safely. Also include any areas you're pretty sure you don't want to go to. My plan is to put the pistol magazines and my tourniquet in my pants pockets. Immediately putting on gloves, if it makes sense to do that in that situation. Placing my flashlight in my pocket as well. I have my knife and multi-tool on my belt. This would probably be a good time to suggest trying your kit on. Once you think you have your bag set up, put it on, walk around with it. Maybe that jet boil you thought was really important just isn't worth the wait. You don't need to go crazy with it, but wearing your bag around the house for an hour should give you an idea of what it would be like to carry your bag for a while. Don't expect that you're going to, suddenly be in shape or be stronger just because the situation got sketchy. In addition to your get-home bag, consider storing some additional items in your car. Sunscreen and bug spray are probably going to be essential everywhere, but make sure you don't leave aerosolized cans in your car. Also, remember that you're not used to being outside for more than a couple of hours a day. Make sure you reapply sunscreen at least every 2 hours and drink a lot more water than you normally do. We keep a 24-pack of water bottles in each vehicle. That might be appropriate for our family of 2, but don't think that's going to last very long for a family of 6. Make sure you adjust to your needs. Also keep in mind seasonal overclothing. For example, a hoodie for extra warmth in the spring and or fall, a spare rain jacket or rain boots, a heavy coat for winter if that's a concern, and cold weather gloves to protect your hands in harsh conditions, again, if that's a concern for where you live. These items should be stored in a bin that you can keep in your car. That way everything stays together, but doesn't take up a ton of space. Feel free to use these supplies when you're out for a hike or forget to bring sunscreen. Just make sure that you replenish all of the stuff you use after each time. Let's look at another specific example. My wife works within a walking distance of her grandparents, so we packed her bag with staying put in mind. For her, the goal isn't necessarily to get home, it's to get to their house, and then wait out the emergency there. We have established this plan with them, which you should also do if you intend to rely on other people. You should probably also contribute some supplies to stay at their house if you plan on using it as a waypoint. In this instance, a simplified bag that isn't quite so focused on traveling on foot is sufficient. Here's what's in it. Emergency rations, enough for 24 hours just in case you get stuck at work. This is what the individual bricks look like. They're sort of a cookie biscuit thing. She also has 2 emergency thermal blankets for warmth, a flashlight for visibility, 2 hard water bottles for hydration, 6 hand warmers for additional warmth, an emergency sleeping bag in case it's safer for her to stay at work instead of going to her grandparents', a whistle compass for signaling and navigation, a paper map in case her planned route is inaccessible, as well as comfortable walking shoes because she regularly works in dress shoes or heels. Some medical and feminine hygiene supplies, some pepper spray because she doesn't want to carry a gun, some paracord disguised as an out-of-date fashion item, some earplugs. Remember, the point of the get-home bag is not to save the world. The 3 goals should be keeping it accessible, lightweight, and maintainable. You're not a warlord, you're probably not even an emergency responder. Your primary goal is to get home or to your established meeting point safely. While it's commendable to help others if possible, your top priority should be your family. Focus on getting home, then consider helping your neighborhood, community, and city. Your family comes first, so make sure they're safe before extending help to others. A well-prepared, thoughtful, and intentional get-home bag can make all the difference in an emergency, and hopefully get you home safely. Get subscribed for more videos on helping your family prepare for the situations you're likely to face. Get prepared, stay safe, and take care of your families.